Hey guys, it's Yuta. So today I'm going to talk about the top 10 anime of 2020 in Japan, according to Japanese review websites. I think this is going to be interesting because sometimes popular anime in Japan aren't always popular overseas. In this list, I'm not going to include films, but I will include sequel seasons. So let's get started. Number 10, Golden Kamuy. This is a historical action-adventure anime. The story takes place in early 1900s Hokkaido after the Russo-Japanese War. An ex-soldier, Sugimoto, looks for hidden gold with Asirpa, an Ainu girl. One of the things that makes this story interesting is Asirpa, the Ainu girl. The Ainu are indigenous people of Japan, and most Japanese people today aren't very familiar with Ainu culture. But in the anime, Asirpa shares a lot about her culture, including their hunting techniques or cooking techniques. This adds a lot of depth to the already entertaining story.
ひんなひんな
なんだいそれ
感謝を表す言葉食事にも言うんだ
If you like historic anime or historic waifu, you should check this out. Number 9. 痛いのは嫌なので防御力に極振りしたいと思います or BOFURI, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. This is an anime that takes place in a world of a VR MMO or virtual reality massively multiplayer online game. As the title says, the main character, Kaede, puts all of her points into vitality because she doesn't want to get hurt. Now, you may be wondering, is this another Sword Art Online? Yes, it is. But no, it's actually pretty different. This one's more chill and less serious. It's almost like a slice of life anime because nothing really seems to happen. Except for cute girls doing cute things in the video game. And they just keep winning.
バケモンすぎんだろ
あいつのステータスどうなってんの
さっきからカウンターばっかだ
So if that's your thing, you might enjoy it. Number 8. 映像研には手を出すな Keep your hands off Eizouken. This is a pretty unique anime and I've never seen anything like this before. The story itself is pretty straightforward. 3 high school girls try to make an anime. But everything else is anything but straightforward. The story takes place in the future around 2050. But instead of looking futuristic, a lot of places in this anime actually look old. I almost feel nostalgic watching this. And the way the characters speak is very different from other anime. These teenage girls speak like guys from the 60s or something. And that adds a lot of personality to them.
人間は嫌いです
ガッテン承知の助
Unfortunately, these linguistic nuances are lost in translation, which is too bad because the way they speak is really interesting. So if you want to fully enjoy an anime like this, you need to learn Japanese. And if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak. So click the link in the description and subscribe. Number 7. 推しが武道館いってくれたら死ぬ If my favorite pop idol made it to the Budokan, I would die. Now, this is a type of anime that's probably not going to be popular in the West because much fewer people are into Japanese idols. Just think about anime like Love Live or Idol Master. They're much more popular with Japanese otaku than Western otaku, I think. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting much from this anime because I'm not into idols. But a big surprise, it turns out to be a very enjoyable anime even for someone like me. What makes this anime interesting is the main character is an idol fan. And she's a woman unlike a more stereotypical type of otaku who looks like her friend. The show portrays the life of these otaku, which kind of makes me learn about their culture that I'm not familiar with. And the story has a good amount of romantic tension, which makes me want to see the next episode. I'd recommend this anime if you enjoy romantic comedy anime or if you are an idol fan. Number 6. Deca-Dance. This is an action-adventure sci-fi anime. and this is an original anime. It takes place in a world where most of the human population has died, and those who survived have to live in the mobile fortress called Deca-Dance because there are dangerous monsters outside. The main character, Natsume, wants to be part of the fighters to fight against monsters, but she doesn't get accepted and she ends up being a cleaner of the fortress. This may sound like a rather unoriginal plot so far, but things aren't what they seem to be, so you can expect a fair amount of plot twists to learn the secrets of the world. I kind of think if you enjoy anime like Psycho-Pass, you might enjoy this. Number 5. 乙女ゲームの破滅フラグしかない悪役令嬢に転生してしまった。My next life as a villainess. All routes lead to doom. Here comes another isekai anime with a very long title. This time the main character realizes that she's in an otome game that she used to play because she used to be an otaku. The twist here is instead of being the main character of the game, she actually is the villainess. And naturally she will inevitably face a bad end, possibly death. Now she has to try everything she can to avoid a bad end, because she doesn't want to die, obviously.
もしかしてあなたエメラルド王女とソフィアをご存知なんですか？やったー！ついに見つけたロマンス小説仲間。
If you enjoy light-hearted comedy, which I do, you would probably enjoy this. I'd also recommend this if you are into otome games for obvious reasons. Number 4. とある科学のレールガン T. A certain scientific railgun T. This series is pretty popular in Japan, but I have an impression that it's not as popular in the West. This is the third season of a certain scientific railgun, but the franchise itself has 7 seasons, 1 OVA, and 1 film in total. This one, Railgun, is basically a spin-off of the main series, A Certain Magical Index. But the interesting thing is, this spin-off is more popular than the main series. It shouldn't be hard to understand why though, because it's a very fun series. This is basically a school anime where attractive students have psychic power. A big part of the series is interactions between students with occasional action scenes to spice things up. And these action scenes look pretty cool too.
お見舞いに来ました。はいはい、それはどうも。黒子、元気にしてって。
This show is very easy to like and enjoy, so I'd recommend this to everybody. Number 3. やはり俺の青春ラブコメは間違っている。Kam, aka 俺がいる aka My teen romantic comedy SNAFU, Climax. This is one of the best romantic comedy anime ever. I love this so much that I've already watched it like 3 times. This show has a nice balance of the usual anime tropes and more realistic characters that remind me of either myself or people I know from the past. I like how the main character, Hachiman, says he doesn't like nice girls because he can easily fall for them when they are just being nice. But when someone who's actually into him finally shows up, he misinterprets the whole situation because of his attitude. I like the keen observations of social dynamics such as how things can be awkward when the person who's holding the group together is absent. I like the show's satirical take on the type of Japanese people who use unnecessary English words excessively to look cool. And this anime has some of the most indirect dialogues that I've come across. Some characters have a very Japanese way of communicating, and if you are not paying attention, you will be lost. And these are just a few things that makes the show much more than just a fun, romantic comedy anime.
やっはろー。何か。
僕と契約して俺がいるを見てほしいんだ。Number 2. 隠し事 My Dad's Secret Ambition. This is a show about a manga artist who wants to hide the fact that he's a manga artist from his daughter because he draws rather perverted manga. This is a fun anime with adorable characters, and I also like the main voice actors Hiroshi Kamiya and Rie Takahashi. Since the main character is a manga artist, the show talks a lot about the process of making manga. So if you are interested in that aspect, you might enjoy it. It's definitely a good show, but I don't agree that it's better than Oregairu. Oregairu is a very special anime. So, I'd recommend watching this after watching Oregairu and the number one anime I will talk about later. But before talking about the number one anime, I'd like to mention ReZero because it's not the number one and I think it should rank higher. With the abundance of shows of this genre, ReZero is indubitably one of the best isekai anime. It deserves credit for truly standing out. It has interesting characters, one of the most popular waifu, and a complex and unexpected story. I feel like I need to mention it. So, the number one anime of 2020 in Japan is Kaguya-sama wa告らせたい, 天才たちの恋愛頭脳戦, or Kaguya-sama, Love is War. This is another favorite anime of mine, which many of you guys are already familiar with. The premise of this anime is simple. Kaguya and Miyuki like each other, but not only do they not know that they like each other, they are too proud to admit that they like the other person. So they try to make the other person confess their love to them. To achieve their goal, they often devise ridiculously elaborated plans, but they often just end up being cute. One of the great things about this anime is the characters. Apart from the main characters, there are plenty of memorable and likable characters, and they bring a lot to the story. It has very heartwarming moments which make us root for the characters. This is a very well executed romantic comedy, not just in terms of the story, but also in terms of visual and linguistic expressions. I have no problem that this anime is number one. It deserves the spot. So, these are the top 10 anime of 2020 in Japan. And I think you can see popular anime in Japan aren't always popular in the West. But with some of the best animes such as Oregairu, Kaguya-sama or Eizouken, what characters say in Japanese can be very important. But sadly, a lot of these nuances are lost in translation, and you can of course enjoy these anime without understanding Japanese, but if you do, you can enjoy these anime even more. So, if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak, which will also help you understand anime. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta. Alright, see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao!